let's go ahead and get started. All right, we have Kaitlyn and Kira with us today, which is really fun. You guys are actually both in the same life group, which is really fun. So why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourselves and how long you've been at Victory Faith and what it was that made you come to Victory Faith.
I can go first for this one. I've been at Victory Faith. I'm 20 years old now. I started going when I was 16, and so like February of 2021, which was my sophomore year. And so it's like 4 years, so a little over 4 years now, which is crazy. And I started going because a cute boy invited me to youth group. That's awesome. It's the truth. I was going to like a different church at the time and was like super involved, but I just remember like coming to Victory Faith for the first time and just like feeling the presence of the Lord like so strongly in such a profound way. And within about like 4 months after that, I felt the Lord like asking me to make this my home church, and so I've been like here ever since.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. And you did our School of Leadership?
Yes, I did. Just graduated my second year, and now I'm on staff here in our creative department. So.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, I'm Kira. I'm also 20 years old and just graduated my second year of the School of Leadership. I'm also on staff as the Victory Kids Assistant, which is literally a dream come true. I wanted to be working in ministry for a while, didn't know if the Lord would open a door, then he did, and it was like awesome. I've been coming here. It'll be 3 years in August. Cool. I actually came for the first time to a youth group. So Kaitlyn and I have been friends since middle school, and both of our testimonies are kind of really intertwined with each other. And so when I was younger, I was following the Lord, but I just didn't believe he had a voice, didn't believe that he cared about me, that he wanted me, but I still was following him. Yeah. And I met her in middle school, and it was like something about her. I was like, we're going to be friends. And so I started praying for her. So for 2 years, I prayed that she would meet Jesus, and she did. And we became super good friends. Wow. And then I got super like offended with the Lord because I was like, you don't care about me, which was my own like perception of him because I didn't know he could speak. And so I walked away from the Lord and tried to walk away from Kaitlyn. And that didn't work. And she stuck very faithfully to me. And she invited me to youth group, told me these stories that she had about the Lord. And I would tell her that she was crazy to her face, but inside my heart was like totally softening to Jesus. Wow. And so when she and another mutual friend of ours invited me to go to youth group after they came back from camp, I was like, fine, I'll come. And then got totally radically encountered by Jesus. It was camp testimony night, so it was testimony after testimony after testimony of God speaks, God heals, God delivers. And then I was hearing his voice for the first time, getting healed in a profound way for the first time. It was crazy. Wow. So that's my story. That's how I'm here.
That's so cool. I love that your guys' friendship goes back such a long time. Yeah, that's so cool. And then you wound up doing School of Leadership together, which is probably just, you would have never thought that. No, in middle school.
Not at all.
Not a little bit.
The Lord's so funny sometimes in how he works.
That is so great. Okay, so you both came to youth, you went to School of Leadership, and then you chose to join a life group. Yes. So what was your reason? I mean, I'm sure you had different reasons, but what was your reason for joining a life group in the first place?
For me, I actually had been in a young adults life group at the beginning of my first year, and then when things got really busy, I kind of just left because I didn't have the capacity at the time. And then kind of in January and February, we started pushing life groups more, and I just felt really strongly like to join a life group, but I also felt really strongly like the Lord was kind of challenging me to like grow in community in different ways. Like being in the School of Leadership and like living in the girls' house as a part of this school, I'm like, I don't need more community with young adults. Like I already have my close friends. I'm already like with people ages 18 to 22 like all the time. Okay. And so I just felt really strongly of like I wanted to join a life group, and I wanted it to be like in a way that was like challenging in the sense of like being around people I wouldn't normally like notice on a Sunday, or people I wouldn't normally like just get the opportunity to get to know. And so I felt that, and that's why we even chose, like I chose to join the life group we did, and me and Kira wanted to join one together because it was kind of scary to go alone.
Oh, that's a really good point. I think a lot of people feel that way. Yes. Even a married couple could feel that way. You know, it just is nerve-wracking going into a house full of people that you've never met. You don't know who's going to be sitting on the couch. Yeah. I think it's normal to be really intimidated.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
What about you, Kira?
I really didn't want to go to a life group because I was in the School of Leadership, so I was like, I have community everywhere. Yeah. I was like, I don't feel a need to. But Kaitlyn really felt like she was supposed to go. She invited me, and I was like, I guess I'll go with Kaitlyn. And then it ended up being awesome. I just was so resistant. But it ended up being great.
That's awesome.
I literally just went because because of your invite.
No, that's good. I mean, that's
Yeah.
very real. Just, that you went, but you loved it. And you said you had been in one of the young adult life groups, and so now you're not going to one. So what was that like? What did it wind up being like as far as age ranges and things like that when you went?
Our life group, we were the youngest people in the life group. We both were 19 at the time, or like 18, 19. And then like it was basically us to like the next youngest people were like 27.
Okay.
And then to like basically like early 40s, I think was about the age range, like late 30s, early 40s. And like everyone else in the life group was like married, and almost all of them had kids.
Really?
So it was actually very different than our stage of life.
Super different.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you've stayed for a long time. So obviously you liked it. What would you say has been a big benefit in being with people that are not just your age?
The biggest thing I would say is that because they're not in your season, they can see your season a lot more clearly than you can. Because they've already been through it. Like, they've been through the teenage years where you're like, I don't know how to do life. Everything's falling apart. I don't understand taxes. I don't understand relationships. They get it. Like, they were there, and they weren't there that long ago, but they're on the other side, and they have a fresh perspective that we didn't have. It's so easy sometimes to get caught up in what it's like with your peers that you lose sight that like there actually is an end to what you're going through, like the confusion, the not knowing, there's an end. And it was really refreshing to hear people be like, it's gonna be okay, and then they would share their stories of like, this is what I did when I was your age, and it's okay. And I'm like, you're so right. Praise God.
That's great.
Yeah, I would like totally agree and say kind of the same thing, because like when you are just kind of even in the school, you're in like the same season as people pretty consistently. Yeah. And so sometimes your experiences are kind of like an echo chamber in a way. Yeah. And there's like such a benefit to that and everything, but also it was definitely really nice and really, really refreshing to, like Kira said, get outside of that. We aren't people that were like, I did something way stupider when I was 20 and I'm just fine now. And you're like, you're so right. Thank you so much.
That's so awesome. And I think it's so important to keep those different generations in our lives. And and I'm sure you guys were also impactful to people who are older, just that fresh ignite, where you're just ignited for the Lord all the time. And that can be sometimes refreshing when, you're just dealing with your kids all day. And life can kind of feel like it's the same day over and over. So I love that. So is there anything that has happened, like joining a life group, especially you, Kira, kind of feeling like, I don't know if I even need a life group, anything that you've gotten out of being part of a life group that you weren't expecting?
I would say that a sense of unity surprised me a lot, because I knew that I was seeing these people every week and that I was learning more about their lives and that they were learning more about me. But sometimes you have to actually wait until things happen to understand that you're connected and that you're united on something. Yeah. And so when people started going through hard things and actually admitting it in life group and seeing people like band together was really encouraging. That's cool. And I've always believed in community and the power of community, but I think that I didn't understand that the Lord wanted to use life groups as a vessel in our church. Like, it was kind of like a hidden thing. Like, people think that they can get community, but sometimes actually organized community like life groups is what the Lord wants to use to reach people. Wow. And that was really impactful and encouraging.
That's cool. I've not heard it worded that way. I really like that. That's awesome.
Thanks.
What was the question again?
The question, is there anything that surprised you that you got out of life group that maybe you weren't expecting to get out of it?
Oh, yeah, I think I definitely agree with what Kira said. And then I also think for me, there were some times, like, going into it, I didn't think that I expected to actually, like, be seen and, like, be ministered to, especially, like, by people that, like, weren't, like, Gabrielle and Lawrence. Yeah. Like, there were so many times, like, I would just be, like, especially because our life group's on Sundays, and I would serve really frequently on Sundays, so I'd be at the church from, like, 7 a.m. and then be through all 3 services and all this stuff, and I just would be so tired and, like, hit my wall and all these things, and I would come to life group, and I'd just be like, I'm fine, everything's fine, and then just having, like, someone, especially, like, some of, like, a lot of them, like, being moms, just being like, what's going on? I'm like, just like having like the breakdown. But like there were just so many times I actually got really ministered to by like older women, and it just was like, so I just wasn't expecting it. I'm honestly kind of more apprehensive, I think, to that sometimes, and so it just like unexpectedly I got a lot of ministry, I guess.
That's really cool.
How to word it, yeah.
I think that's awesome too, because I think there are a lot of people who maybe are older and don't necessarily aren't aware of the value that they have on somebody who's younger. I mean, I'm obviously a lot older than both of you, but I have women who are much further down the line that minister to me, and it's just huge in my life to have somebody who's that much further down. I mean, I have a friend who's 40 years older than me, and she's older, but what she pours in and what she can see, like you said, way past my season is just, it's huge. You just really can't compare it to anything else. So
It's true. Totally.
do you have, I love to ask everybody this question because it's just fun to hear people's different answers. If you could describe your life group in one word, what word would you use to describe it?
You want me to go first? Okay. I picked the word growth. The reason that I picked it is because, honestly, committing to things can be really hard. And it's not just life group, whether it's church, whether it's a serve team, all these things can be incredibly hard. But part of following the Lord is committing to growth, committing to look more like the Lord and to obey him. And one of the things he wants us to do is have community. And you have to commit to doing that. And through the commitment, I've only seen fruit and blessing.
Wow.
There have been countless times that Kaitlyn and I would be driving to life and be like, we don't want to go. And then it literally would be one of the most impactful nights of my whole life. It would be so profound. The Spirit was so on it. People were getting set free. I was getting ministered to. Kaitlyn was getting ministered to. The Lord just takes advantage of every single opportunity he can to reach his kids.
Wow.
And that requires us committing to it and choosing to grow, choosing to take that step.
Man, that's good.
I would say transformation. There's one couple I can think of very specifically where I remember it was me and Kira, and then Gabrielle and Lawrence, Ellie and Adam at the time, and then this couple, I think it was our first night, and just when they told their story and just their whole demeanor and just everything to where they are now, they're both now serve every week, and the Lord, even the woman, she gave me even a prophetic word, a cup, one of our last life groups, and just her, when we met her, would have never done that.
Wow.
And I just really think of and not just one smaller example, I can just really think of the transformation just in everyone's lives, including ours. I think there's so many ways that I've grown just being in the life group and being in that community, and even Lawrence and Gabrielle specifically kind of challenging me in certain areas and challenging me in certain things, and I would definitely just say transformation.
Man, that's cool. Those are great, you guys. Okay, so if there were people on the fence, especially someone, I just really love that you guys decided to join a life group that wasn't just young adults. Yeah. I think there's a huge benefit in being with other 100%. People within your season. Yeah. There's so many benefits to just community in general, however you do it. But I love that you joined one that wasn't just your season. So what would you guys tell someone who's, especially a young adult, who is maybe on the fence about, I don't know if I want to do this life group thing. I don't know if it's going to be worth my time. How would you encourage somebody like that?
Yeah. Can we go first? When I was thinking about this question, the first thing I thought of is you can't do it on your own, and you have to stop pretending like you can. Honestly, especially young adults, there is this thing of I can do it. I can power through life. You get so excited to do this thing on your own, and then you reach this point where you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know how life works. I don't know how the seriousness works. And community is such a gift from the Holy Spirit, and it's a tool that he has given us to encounter him and to look more like him. And there are specific things that he wants to do solely through community that he's inviting us to be a part of. And to choose not to do that, I don't know. It almost feels disobedient. The Lord is asking you to love people and to love God. Those are the things that it boils down to, that he talks about, is love people, love God. So I don't know. I think that you just have to understand your need for people and understand that people also need you. There's something that you bring that's so unique and that's so special. And when you're not plugged into community, when you're not pouring into people, you're actually taking away the value and the gift that the Lord put inside you. If you're really gifted at serving, that person needs you to serve them. If you're really gifted at encouragement, they need encouragement. There's something in you that needs to come out, and the Lord's asking you to use community as a way to do it. That's how we're going to spread the gospel of Jesus. That's how people are are going to encounter love. And if you can't love each other well in your church, how are you going to love people beyond? Like, you can't love the world if you don't know how to love somebody sitting right next to you with the same beliefs. Like, it gets harder the more that you disagree with people. And the church is such a safe place to practice love.
Wow.
And to practice it, like, just in a safe environment. You know, like, Kaitlyn, we're best friends. I can literally tell her anything. Oh, I just hit that. Oops. I can tell her anything, and she'll help, like, teach me how to love her better and how to love her in a way that looks like the Lord. And from this place, from this relationship, this community that we've built, I can go out and love others.
Wow, that's so good.
And life groups are a beautiful way of doing it, especially, I think, the multi-generational ones, because it just helps you learn how to do it with people of all seasons of life.
Yeah, that's so good.
Yeah, I would agree with everything Kira said, and as well too. I know for me in my own life groups and like other like areas as well, like so much has been worked out through community. Like so much of like my refining I can think of in the last couple of years has been like the deeper I've been in community, the more refined I've been, the more my character's grown, the more like things have come out of me, and it's most of the time it's not pretty. And I think, but like the Lord can do so much. Like Kira was saying, like the Lord and the Holy Spirit like chooses to minister and chooses to work through community and through like just like the depth of community and vulnerability and honesty. And like just taking that risk, even if it's like you're like, well, I'm like super connected, like even if like you have your girls, you have your people, great, then join a life group with people like you don't know. Like try to get to know new people, like bring new people in. Like there's always something you can be growing in community. There's always a way you can be challenged in community. There's always like something to benefit, and also more than that, like something to give. And I just encourage it. Like it's so important. It's like, it's like the vision of God in this season for our church. You know, if like you call Victory Faith your home, like get on board with the vision, like be a part of what God's doing in the kindest way, like do it, join, come on, like it's awesome.
That's cool. I love that. Thank you guys so much for coming and for being part of a life group and just for everything you guys pour into the staff here, and it's pretty awesome. So thanks guys.
Yeah, thanks Lindsay.